Hey guys, how's it going? So before we jump right into this video, I do want to let you guys know I have a free download for you, and it's my top secrets on having light and airy photos. So if you like my editing style and you like the light and airy look, you're gonna want to have this download. It has all of my best tips for achieving that style in your work. So today I'm actually going to screen record and show you guys exactly step by step how I would edit a reception wedding photo. I know receptions can be really hard to photograph, but there are a few things that I do when I'm editing a photo that really help me achieve the same type of light and airy editing style, even though I might have shot it in a really dark situation. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Okay guys, so here is the photo that I have that I'm going to show you guys how I would edit this from a wedding reception. One thing I will say before we start is it really does matter the lighting that you use in your reception photos. If you're just winging it and not even using flash at all, you're gonna have a lot harder time editing photos in post-processing versus if you just went ahead and made sure that you got the lighting right in camera. So I'm actually really proud of this image. I have actually two flashes going on. I have one on my camera that's bouncing a little bit of light forward, and I have one off my camera you can see off to the right over here that's bringing in some fill light and some pop in the back. See how there's some light hitting their backs? So that just brings a lot of pop to your photo and especially gives it a nicer, lighter, and brighter style. So if you like that, I actually have a video on shooting off-camera flash that I think you're also going to really love. I'll link that in the description or put it right above right here if you're interested in tapping on that after this. So like some of you guys probably know, I do sell presets in my shop. I will link those in the description where you can actually buy the presets where literally you just click and your photo is like mostly edited. This one I would just need to bring the brightness down, and like that's pretty much how I would edit it. But I'm going to show you exactly how I would edit this from start to finish. Especially for reception photos, it can be a little bit trickier. It's a little bit more difficult than if you're shooting like in natural light and knowing like what sliders to adjust and stuff. But if you want presets that are gonna give you that one click, almost perfect type of editing and just save you a lot of time, plus you get all of these presets here. So there's a bunch of enhancers, there's a starting edit, there's a black and white edit, all of the fun things, and this just shows you an example of one reception photo. The first thing I would do, my style is pretty light and bright, so I'm just gonna go ahead and brighten this up quite a bit. I do tend to bring my highlights down a little bit. I'll bring my shadows up a little bit just to bring some more pop into the photo. However, whenever I do use flash or at a reception, I try not to bring it like all the way down. See how like especially in his shirt, it just starts to look a little like a weird gray color. When you use flash, that tends to happen. So that's why I don't like during outdoor portraits, I'll bring the highlights down a little bit more. But for this one, we're just gonna keep it up a little bit on the higher side. And then I am adjusting on my positive and minus keys on my keyboard to increase the exposure. You can do that by just clicking any of these settings and you can adjust with your positive and negative keys. But I'm gonna keep it on the exposure because that's the one I adjust the most. And then, so one thing that I noticed here is this guy's shirt just seems really bright red. So I'm gonna try to crop him out a little bit more. So I'm gonna go ahead and crop in right here. And I don't really wanna stop here because if you do that, you've got this really dark brown wooden beam right here and you still have part of his shirt, which you're probably gonna have some of that, but I'm just gonna go ahead and crop in like that so you don't even have any of the beam right here, which is really nice. Perfect. Okay, and then another thing I noticed is that this photo is a little bit warm, so I'm going to bring my warmth down just a little bit, and then it's a little bit pink, so I'm going to bring my pinks down a tiny bit. And then as I keep scrolling, so one thing I do, I usually bring my whites down just a tad, I bring my vibrance down just a tad. And then let's see, so down here, I usually bring my highlights down just a little bit. I feel like you can bring your highlights down even more with this and not get like as much of a weird gray in just the shirt. So a lot of times I'll do that. Because I brought my shadows up over here, I'm gonna go ahead and bring my darks back down a little bit just to bring some more life back into the photo. And then another thing that I like to do with reception photos is play with this color area here, especially with like the oranges and the reds and the yellows. So the first thing I'm gonna do actually, with the reds, you wanna be careful because if you like bring it all the way down, see how their faces look super gray? We definitely don't want that. But we do wanna bring it down just a tiny bit, just to kinda soften this guy's red shirt right here so it's not as much of an eyesore. You could also like bring the luminance up a little bit. It's basically just like brightening it. But again, we don't wanna do it too much or it's going to mess with their faces a little bit and just look a little weird. And then with the oranges, I will usually desaturate these, especially for reception photos, to around like -15. Typically, this one's not too bad, but like, do you see how much it desaturates like the oranginess in the background right here? And obviously, like I don't want that, don't want to do it too much, but just doing it a little bit is really helpful and just, especially if you're shooting like in a barn or somewhere where there's just a lot of wood, it helps bring down the orange a little bit. And then I'll usually bring up the hue, maybe like +5. And this, I'll usually bring up the luminance too, just to brighten it a little bit more because my style is pretty bright. And then right now, to me, the photo looks a little bit dead now, like there's not a lot of color. So I might come back up here and actually bring that vibrance back in a little bit. And then another thing I like to do is use split toning. So this is amazing, amazing tool. I will bring my hues on both of these to around 40. Usually around 35 to 40 is where I stick to. And then start with just bringing the saturation up to maybe about 5. And see how much like it's already bringing life into the photo. Let me just bring it up. See how much it adds more like life and just warmth to the photo, and it does this to just the highlights or just the shadows and not all the midtones in between. So it's really nice for just like softly warming up your image without making the whole photo look as yellow and orangey. And then usually I'll bring my sharpening up just a tad bit, maybe to about 50. And then another thing that's really helpful, and especially helpful if you are shooting indoors and it's really dark, is enabling profile corrections. And this one's not as drastic, but if you click on it, you can also mess with like these two settings right here. So see around the edges how it's getting like darker and then lighter and then darker. Especially if your photo is like really dark around the edges, you can like bring this way up just to lighten the image without overexposing your subjects in the middle, which is really, really nice. And then after that, you're kind of just tweaking from there if there's anything else that you want to do to your image. But this is really the majority of what I do to edit my reception photos. Really the trick to this is just not bringing your shadows up too much, not bringing your highlights down too much like I normally do in outdoor photos, and then bringing down your saturation and bringing up your luminance with the oranges, because reception photos do tend to be a lot more orangey. So it helps a lot with that and just like bringing that down and toning it down a little bit, especially when you have a lighter and brighter style. All right, so I just want to show you real quick. Here's the before, and then here's the after I just showed you guys. So before and after. If you love this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I seriously appreciate you guys watching this and just loving it. If you liked this video, I also have another video that I will link right here, also in the description and at the end of this video, on how to edit with a light and airy style for portraits outside. So I have another video very similar to this where I screen record myself literally editing step by step how to edit a photo light and airy in an outdoor scenario. I also provide my presets in my shop. You can find the link down in the description. These presets contain a lot of these steps that I showed you in this video, but more just like one-click magic. And they also have a bunch of enhancers, and you get the starting edit as well for outdoor portraits and outdoor locations, and they're literally just the best. They will save you so much time of having to do this step by step every single time. So if you want those and more information on those, the link will be in the description. And as always, subscribe to my channel because I upload a new video every Tuesday, and I can't wait to share more with you guys next week. Bye guys.